Hi, everyone. Welcome to Learn English Through Podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Today, we have a really fun topic for you, how to plan your weekend in English.
Yes, weekends are the perfect time to relax, try something new, or just catch up with friends. But sometimes it's tricky to talk about plans in English.
Absolutely. So today, we'll go step by step, giving you useful phrases, expressions, and examples you can use to talk about your weekend plans naturally.
Let's start with the basics. First, when you want to ask someone about their weekend plans, you can say,
What are you doing this weekend? Or, do you have any plans for the weekend?
right. And if you're answering, you might say, I'm planning to, or I think I'll.
For example, you could say, I'm planning to go hiking on Saturday.
Or, I think I'll catch up on some reading.
Now, sometimes people like to make their weekend sound more exciting. You can add details.
Exactly. Instead of just saying, I'm going to the park, you could say, I'm planning to go to Central Park with my friends and have a small picnic.
That sounds much more lively, right? It gives the listener a clearer picture.
Another useful tip is to use expressions about free time or spending time. For example, I'm going to spend some time relaxing, or I'll use my free time to try a new recipe.
And if you want to ask someone about joining you, you could say, Do you want to come along? Or, Would you like to join me?
That's perfect for inviting friends politely in English.
Okay, let's practice a short dialogue. I'll start. Hey, Emma, do you have any plans for this weekend?
Hi, Jack. Yes, I'm planning to visit a new cafe downtown. I've heard they have amazing desserts. What about you?
That sounds great. I think I'll go for a long walk in the park and maybe read a book afterwards.
See, even in a simple conversation, you can make it lively by adding small details about where or with whom. Another point to remember is that you can use maybe or might when your plans are not fixed.
For example, I might go to the cinema on Sunday, but I'm not sure yet.
Or, maybe I'll try cooking a new dish at home.
These phrases make your English sound more natural because not every plan is certain.
Yes, that's a very common situation in daily conversation. People often change plans, so it's useful to show uncertainty politely. And you can also talk about preferences. For example, I'd rather stay home and relax, or I prefer going out with friends on weekends.
Those phrases are great when you want to explain why you choose certain plans.
So, in short, the main things we've covered so far, asking about weekend plans, talking about your plans, inviting someone, showing uncertainty, and expressing preferences.
Exactly. And now we'll move on to talking about activities you can do on weekends and some fun ways to describe them in English. So, one of the most common weekend activities is spending time outdoors. You can say things like, I'm going for a bike ride, or I plan to take a walk in the park.
And if you want to make it more descriptive, you can add details about the location or company. For example, I'm planning to go cycling along the river with my friends.
Another fun activity is visiting new places. You could say, I'm thinking of exploring a new museum this weekend, or I want to check out the new art exhibition downtown.
Food-related plans are very popular too. You can say, I'm going to try a new restaurant, or I'll bake some cookies at home.
And if you're inviting someone, you can say, Do you want to join me for lunch? Or would you like to try this cafe together?
Watching movies or series is another favorite. You could say, I'm planning to watch a new movie, or I might binge watch a series on Netflix.
That's right. And don't forget hobbies. You can talk about reading, painting, playing instruments, or even learning something new. For example, I'm going to practice the guitar this weekend, or I might start learning a new language.
Sports are also common. You can say, I'm planning to play tennis with my friends, or I'll go swimming at the community pool.
Some people prefer relaxing at home. You can say, I'll just stay home and relax, or I plan to take it easy and rest.
Now, let's discuss how to structure your sentences for future plans. A simple way is, I'm going to plus verb, I plan to plus verb, or I'll verb.
For example, I'm going to visit my grandparents. I plan to finish my project, or I'll clean my room on Saturday.
And if the plan is not fixed, you can add words like maybe, probably, or might. For example, I might go shopping this weekend, or I'll probably watch a documentary on Sunday.
Another tip is to use expressions about frequency or habits. For example, on weekends, I usually go jogging, or I often meet friends for coffee.
That's very natural English because people like to talk about what they usually do or their habits.
You can also talk about duration. For example, I'll spend 2 hours at the park, or I plan to watch 3 episodes of my favorite series.
And if you want to describe the activity with excitement or emotion, you can use words like, I'm really looking forward to trying a new recipe, or I'm so excited to visit the art gallery.
Using expressions about feelings makes your English more lively and engaging.
Another useful idea is to combine activities. For example, I'm planning to go hiking in the morning and watch a movie in the evening. Or I'll visit my friend and then grab some coffee together.
That's great, because people often do multiple things on weekends, and it's good to know how to describe them in English.
And don't forget about plans with family or friends. You can say, I'm going to have dinner with my family, or I'll meet my friends for a picnic.
Right, because weekends are often social, and talking about these interactions makes your English more natural.
Lastly, when you want to end the conversation politely, you can say, sounds fun, enjoy your weekend, or that's great, have a good time.
Perfect. Those phrases help you wrap up the conversation smoothly.
So far, we've covered outdoor activities, hobbies, movies, sports, food, plans with friends and family, expressing emotions, uncertainty, and combining activities.
And the key is to keep it conversational and descriptive. Add details about where, when, and who you're with.
Exactly. Now, we'll move on to practicing a few real-life dialogues and scenarios to make your weekend planning English sound even more natural. Imagine you want to invite a friend to join your weekend plan. You could say, hey, would you like to come to the farmer's market with me on Saturday?
Or if you're not sure whether they're free, you can say, do you have time to join me for a walk in the park this weekend?
And when someone accepts, you can respond with, great, I'm looking forward to it, or awesome, it'll be fun.
Sometimes people may decline politely. You can hear phrases like, I'm not sure I can make it, or I already have plans, maybe next time.
That's right, and you can reply in a friendly way, no worries, maybe another weekend, or that's okay, we'll plan for another day.
Another way to discuss weekend plans is to talk about the weather. For example, if it's sunny, I'll go for a hike, or I might stay indoors if it rains.
Talking about weather makes your English sound practical and realistic because people often adjust plans depending on it.
You can also describe how often you do certain activities. For instance, I usually go jogging on Saturdays, or I sometimes visit my grandparents on weekends.
Using words like usually, sometimes, or often helps you express frequency naturally.
Let's practice a small dialogue with this. I'll start. Hi, Emma. What are you doing this weekend?
Hi, Jack. I'm planning to visit the botanical garden if the weather is nice. I love seeing all the flowers in bloom. How about you?
That sounds lovely. I might go cycling by the river in the morning and then read a book in the afternoon.
Notice how adding details about time and place makes the conversation richer.
Yes, and if you want to suggest meeting, you can say, do you want to join me for cycling? Or would you like to go to the cafe afterwards?
Another tip is using expressions like, I'm planning on, or I'm thinking about. They are slightly different from I'm going to, but sound natural too.
For example, I'm planning on visiting a new bakery, or I'm thinking about starting a small DIY project.
Weekend plans don't always have to be outside the home. For example, you can say, I'm going to spend time cleaning my room, or I plan to organize my books.
That's right, and sometimes relaxing is important too. You can say, I'll just rest and watch some shows, or I might take a nap and recharge for the week.
Talking about rest is very natural in English because weekends are often for recharging energy.
You can also mention learning activities. For example, I'm going to practice English, or I'll take an online class this weekend.
That's perfect for students or anyone trying to improve skills. Adding specifics like, I'll practice English vocabulary for an hour sounds very realistic.
Another useful expression is, I plan to catch up on. For example, I plan to catch up on emails, or I plan to catch up on reading.
Catching up on things is common because people often fall behind during busy weekdays.
Let's do a short dialogue with that. Emma, do you have any plans for Sunday?
Yes, I plan to catch up on some reading and maybe bake a cake later. How about you, Jack?
I'm going to finish a project I started last week and then relax with a movie in the evening.
See how the dialogue flows naturally and includes both work and relaxation.
Another tip is to use expressions like I'm hoping to when your plan depends on certain conditions.
For example, I'm hoping to go hiking if the weather is good, or I'm hoping to try a new recipe this weekend. Another way to make your weekend conversation interesting is by talking about routines. You can say, I usually go for a run in the morning on weekends, or I often start my Saturday by making a big breakfast.
And if your weekend is different from usual, you can say, this weekend I'm trying something new, or I'm doing something unusual for me on Sunday.
For example, this weekend I'm going to take a pottery class, or I'm going to visit a new art gallery. It makes the conversation more lively.
You can also talk about errands or responsibilities. For example, I need to do some grocery shopping, or I'll clean the house this weekend.
Those are very common things people mention when discussing weekend plans.
Another helpful phrase is, I plan to spend some quality time with. For example, I plan to spend some quality time with my family. Or, I plan to spend time with my dog at the park.
That's nice because it shows you value the activity, not just that you're doing it.
You can also mention exploring new skills. For instance, I'm planning to try painting for the first time. Or, I want to start learning photography this weekend.
And if you're thinking about relaxing at home, there are many ways to say it. You could say, I'll just chill at home, or I might stay in and listen to music.
For people who like socializing, you can talk about meeting friends. For example, I'm meeting my friends for a coffee, or we're going to watch a football game together.
And sometimes you might combine indoor and outdoor activities. You could say, in the morning, I'll go for a walk, and in the afternoon, I'll read a book.
Using time expressions like in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening makes your plan sound more organized.
Another useful expression is, I'm planning to treat myself. For example, I'm planning to treat myself to a nice dinner, or I'll treat myself to a spa day.
That's great for expressing small joys or rewards, which is common in weekend conversations.
If you're suggesting a joint activity, you can say, how about going for a hike together? Or, do you feel like visiting the market with me?
You can also use would you like to sound polite and friendly. For example, would you like to come to the beach with us?
And if someone isn't sure, they might say, I need to check my schedule. Or, I'm not sure yet, but it sounds fun.
A useful phrase to respond to that is, no problem, let me know later. Or, that's fine, just tell me if you can join.
Talking about plans also includes excitement or anticipation. You can say, I'm really looking forward to this weekend, or I'm so excited about trying a new activity.
And for expressing hesitation, you can say, I'm not sure if I'll have time, or I might need to finish some work first.
Using these phrases makes your English sound realistic because people often feel excited or uncertain about weekend plans.
Another tip is to talk about goals or personal projects. For example, I plan to finish a painting, or I want to organize my study space.
And if you're trying something for the first time, you can say, I'm going to try cooking a new dish, or I'm planning to learn a new dance.
These sentences show variety and make conversations interesting, because weekends are often about doing different things.
Lastly, you can describe your mood or intention. For example, I just want to relax and enjoy my weekends, or I hope to be productive and complete my tasks.
That's perfect. It covers both leisure and productivity, which are common weekend topics.
Weekends are also a great time for small adventures. You can say, I'm planning a short road trip, or I'll explore a nearby town this weekend.
And if you want to include friends, you can say, I'm going on a road trip with my friends, or we're planning to visit a nearby village together.
Food adventures are popular too. You can say, I want to try a new dessert place, or I'm going to taste some street food in the city.
Another fun idea is attending events. For example, I'll go to a music concert, or I'm planning to join a local festival.
For cultural activities, you can say, I plan to visit a museum, or I'm thinking about going to an art exhibition.
And if you're inviting someone, you could say, would you like to come with me to the concert? Or do you want to join me at the exhibition?
You can also express uncertainty using might or probably. For instance, I might go to the festival if I finish my work, or I'll probably visit the museum in the afternoon.
Sometimes weekends include learning new skills. You can say, I'm planning to learn photography, or I want to start cooking a new dish this weekend.
For indoor hobbies, you might say, I'll practice playing the piano, or I'm going to try painting a landscape.
And if you're doing relaxing activities, you can say, I plan to watch a movie marathon, or I'll spend the day reading my favorite book.
Combining activities is natural too. For example, I'm going hiking in the morning and visiting a cafe in the afternoon. Or, I'll clean my room and then watch a new series.
Time expressions make your plans clear. You can use in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, or at night.
Weekend conversations also include checking availability. For instance, are you free on Saturday? Or, do you have time to meet this weekend?
And responses can be positive, yes, I'm free, or I'd love to join you. Or more cautious, I'm not sure yet, or I might be busy, I'll let you know.
You can also express excitement for group activities. For example, I'm really looking forward to our picnic. Or, I can't wait to try the new restaurant with you.
And if you're hesitant, you can say, I'm not certain if I can make it, or I might need to finish my homework first.
Talking about weekend plans often involves feelings and preferences. You can say, I prefer staying home and relaxing, or I enjoy going out with friends on weekends.
Another way to share plans is by using hope to or intend to. For example, I hope to finish my project this weekend, or I intend to try a new workout routine.
Weekend activities can also include nature. You can say, I plan to go hiking in the mountains, or I'm going to walk by the lake.
And if you're doing something creative, you could say, I'll write in my journal, or I'm planning to design a small craft project.
These details make your conversations lively and realistic. English becomes more natural when you describe where, when, and how you spend your weekend.
Finally, you can finish a conversation politely. Sounds like a great plan. Have fun. Or, enjoy your weekend. Hope it's amazing.
Weekends can also be a time to explore hobbies you don't usually have time for. For example, I'm planning to try gardening this weekend, or I'll work on a DIY project at home.
And if you want to make it sound more interactive, you can say, I'm thinking about starting a small garden. Would you like to help me?
Sometimes it's about spontaneous activities. You can use phrases like, I might go for a walk if I feel like it, or I could visit the new cafe on Sunday afternoon.
Another way to sound natural is to talk about combining fun and productivity. For example, I'll clean my room in the morning and meet friends for lunch in the afternoon. Or, I plan to do some exercise and then watch a movie.
Weekends are also perfect for personal reflection. You can say, I'll spend some time planning the upcoming week, or I want to journal about my thoughts.
Sharing your intentions with someone else can make your conversation more engaging. For instance, I plan to try a new recipe. Would you like to taste it later?
Talking about weather conditions naturally fits in as well. You can say, if it's sunny, I'll go for a long walk, or I might stay home if it rains.
Another interesting point is describing preparation. For example, I need to buy ingredients for my weekend cooking project, or I'm preparing my bike for a ride on Saturday.
That makes your conversation realistic because planning often involves small steps.
Weekends can also involve social events. You could say, I'll attend a friend's birthday party, or I plan to join a local community meetup.
And for inviting someone politely, you can say, would you like to join the event with me? Or do you feel like coming along?
Talking about preferences adds personality. For instance, I'd rather spend the weekend outdoors, or I prefer quiet time at home.
You can also share excitement with phrases like, I'm so excited about trying a new hiking trail, or I can't wait to bake a new dessert.
And for flexibility, you can say, I might change my plans depending on the weather, or I'll see how I feel on Sunday.
Finally, practicing weekend conversations with real examples helps you speak naturally. For instance,
Hey Emma, what are you doing this Saturday?
I'm planning to go to the botanical garden in the morning and then try a new cafe nearby. How about you?
I'll probably go cycling with some friends and then catch a movie in the evening.
Sounds like a fun day. Maybe we can meet for coffee later.
That's a great idea. I'll text you when I'm free.
Notice how this dialogue includes asking about plans, describing activities, suggesting, and responding naturally.
Using phrases like probably, might, planning to, and looking forward to makes your English sound real and fluent.
That's it for today's episode. We've covered asking about plans, describing activities, inviting friends, expressing uncertainty, excitement, preferences, and combining multiple activities.
Practicing these phrases will help you talk about weekends confidently in English.
Thank you for joining us on Learn English Through podcast. Enjoy your weekend and keep practicing your English.
See you in the next episode, and remember, using English in everyday life makes it easier and fun.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.